June 14. 510 B.C. The Roman Republic established and the first consuls elected, according to the Capitoline marbles. This noble political fabric subsisted for a period of 462 years, until the Battle of Pharsalia. 1631. Francis Goris, a French Jesuit, died. As a preacher he was eloquent and popular, but his writings were gross, and kindled a violent feud between his order and the Jansenists. He lost his life by attending the sick during the pestilence at Poitiers. 1636. Humphrey Lindsay, an English author, died. He wrote various books against popery, one of which was translated into several languages, and often reprinted. 1636. John Cotlard de Saint-Bonnet, Marquis de Toiras, a French general, killed before the fortress of Fontanet, in Italy, country, but he was nevertheless disgraced by Richelieu, and found in Italy a just respect for his abilities and merits. 1637. Burton, a clergyman, Bastwick, a physician, and Prynne, yet a prisoner in the Tower, ordered to be pilloried, lose their ears, and be fined £5,000 each, for a libel on the government of Charles I of England. 1645. Battle of Naseby, in which the forces of Cromwell obtained a bloody victory over the army of Charles I, under Prince Rupert, and obliged him to retire into Wales. 1654. Battle of Dunes. The French defeated the Spaniards under Prince de Conde and Don John of Austria. 1662. Henry Vane, an English statesman, beheaded. He was vacillating in his politics, and characterized as a dangerous man. 1683. The Rye House plot to assassinate King Charles II of England, discovered by Joseph Keeling. 1704. Ralph Bathurst, an English physician, divine and Latin poet, died. He was a man of great erudition. 1710. Jet Hunter arrived at New York from England in the capacity of governor of the province, bringing with him 3,000 Palatines, who formed a Lutheran church in New York. 1723. Claude Fleury, a French advocate, died, aged 82, greatly respected for his learning and virtues. 1743. James Villot, a French Jesuit, died. He traveled in Armenia, and published commentaries on the Gospels. 1746. Colin Maclaurin, an eminent Scottish mathematician and philosopher, died. His writings are very numerous, and highly valuable for the purposes of navigation and geography. 1754. A convention was held at Albany, for the purpose of concluding a treaty with the Six Nations. It was attended by about 150 Indians. 1756. Prosper Marchand, a French author, died in Holland, at a great age. He left France on account of religious views, and published a journal littéraire. He also wrote a history of printing, and published a new edition of Bayle's Dictionnaire. 1769. The General Court of Massachusetts, having remonstrated to Governor Hutchinson against their place of meeting being surrounded with an armed force, and Boston being invested by sea and land, he adjourned the court to Cambridge. 1776. Americans evacuated Sorel, in Canada, and the British under Gen. Burgoyne entered it. 1776. The Americans cannonaded the British fleet from Moon and Long Islands, and compelled it to leave the bay and open the intercourse with Boston. 1777. Congress resolved that their flag should consist of 13 stripes alternate red and white, that the Union be 13 stars, white on a blue field, representing a new constellation. 1787. Abdul-Wahab, an Arabian reformer, and founder of the Wahhabites, died, aged 95. Doctrines are still cherished. 1792. Battle of Lubar on the River Sluice, in which the Polish cavalry under Joseph Poniatowski defeated the Russians. 1792. A plot was discovered in London to blow up the King's Bench prison. 1792. The stockholders of the Hartford Bank held their first meeting for the choice of directors. John Caldwell was the first president. This was the first bank in Connecticut. 1799. The French, commanded by Jean MacDonald, on the Trebia, were defeated with immense loss by Suwarrow. 1800. Jean-Baptiste Kleber, commander-in-chief of the French army in Egypt, assassinated while walking in his garden, by a Turk named Soleiman. The country was forming plans for its peaceful government and improvement. 1800. Battle of Marengo, in Italy. Bonaparte defeated the Austrians, who lost 1,700 killed and prisoners. The French acknowledged the loss of 500 killed and wounded. 1800. Louis Charles Anthony Dessaix, a distinguished French general, killed at the Battle of Marengo. He arrived on the field of battle with a fresh battalion at a moment that decided the victory for the French, but received a shot in the breast, of which he instantly died. 1801. Benedict Arnold, the traitor, died in England. He was a brave officer in the American service, from the commencement of the War of the Revolution. But some imprudent conduct subjected him to a reprimand from the commander-in-chief, after which he sought an opportunity to desert. He joined the British Army, and committed great cruelties upon his countrymen during the remainder of the war. 1807. Battle of Friedland, in ancient Prussia. The Russians and Prussians were defeated, with the loss of 17,500 men and 80 cannon, by the French under Bonaparte. The battle commenced at 10 in the morning, and the Russians withstood the superior force of the French till nearly 5 in the afternoon, when Bonaparte, putting himself at the head of the army, commanded a general assault, which was executed with overpowering effect. Bennigsen was compelled to retreat, destroying the bridge behind him. 1829. Battle of the Defile of Potsoy. The Turkish troops, 15,000, entirely defeated, and their camp taken by storm by the Russians. 1833. Abraham Bogar died in the poorhouse, Maury County, Tennessee, aged 118, a native of the state of Delaware. 1846. Nearly 50 persons killed by the burning of the theater at Quebec. 1848. A revolt at Haiti, and a tumult at Berlin. 1851. Thomas Moule died in London, aged 67, a well-known writer to the extent of many volumes on topographic and heraldic antiquities. 1854. A great fire occurred at Worcester, Massachusetts, destroying property valued at $500,000, and throwing 1,000 mechanics out of work. 1856. Mr. Marcy, Secretary of State, formally notified the Danish minister that the United States would not make forcible resistance to the collection of the Sound dues for a year from this day.